I'm watching all those shows and I'm like, oh, fighting's cool. And like somebody from the streets of Philly tried to like fuck with me, and I stood up to him like,
you gonna do your ninja?
And he like threw me into the plug, threw me into like the stop sign. Like I was bruised up bad. 1, 2. 1, 2,
3, 4. All right, we're live.
1.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
I'll spit one for you. I started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. That's Drake, right?
Yeah, that is Drake. You imagine, wow, you sound whiter than Drake. That's pretty good. That's an accomplishment. That is an accomplishment.
See, I said I wasn't gonna rap. I spit a quarter of a bar and you break my balls. You know what?
It's only because it's ball breaking with Mike and Steve.
Well, you know, we said that possibly I would rap if we hit 100 subscribers. I think the bet's March. Yeah. I got to do a full rap song.
Full DMX.
But
barking and all.
I think we'd have to mute you and Brian's mic because you'd be laughing the whole time. But I'll do it. I'm dead serious.
You got to do it.
100 subscribers.
100 subscribers by March. You people hear that?
I will rap my ass off.
An Italian.
I'll get up. I'll do hand gestures. I mean, yeah. You got to be smooth with it. You know, shoulder. You remember 50 Cent the way?
That's not how 50 Cent did it. Just so you know.
He had swag, you know? Swag ain't cheap. You know, some people are born with it. All right.
You don't pay for it, though. It's not a pay for it thing.
That's the one thing Italians can't pay for. All right. Are we on? No, we're on. All right. Happy New Year.
Yes. We're down to the second week of January.
Good Thursday morning. This is becoming a Thursday show that people look forward to. Thursday show. Let's make it clear. Thursdays is our podcast. Tuesdays, you could see me and Mike live at the Laughing Fox Tavern performing comedy, social distancing the crowd the best we can, wearing masks in the middle of a pandemic. We're still doing what we love to do, performing stand-up comedy. And now we're learning how to podcast.
Yes. 6 foot thing actually helps out a lot. I see a lot of our people when they come down to our show on Tuesdays, dudes who don't really want to sit with their wife, they can say, no, it's a pandemic over there. Like it helps. It helps everyone else. Side chicks far away. It's good. It helps.
Yeah, it helps. That's for sure. But you can't sit at the bar. And in the beginning, for me, that was a little bit weird, like performing comedy, during this pandemic. You're not in the state of Jersey. You're not allowed to sit at a bar at all. It's like regulated. Yeah. So I'm usually the type of comic that I like to watch the comedians perform, have a drink with me, sit at the bar. I'm not drinking right now, so it's club soda or coffee. But
club soda.
You know,
club soda.
I lost another 3 pounds. Not bragging, but I'm going to throw that out there. It's not easy during the holiday season.
Yeah, did you have a tough time with the cookies?
No, well, you know what I did during I did everything in moderation. I lived my life.
We should have a nice little.
Pizzelles, right?
They're fantastic.
How would you describe it?
It is with the spice, which I believe is anise. Is the flavor that pizzelles have.
Okay, see that
anise?
Anise, yeah. It's a certain type of spice.
See that swag that comes with.
Yeah. Comes with cookie. Apparently it comes with pounds. That's the swag that it comes with.
I'm trying to get swag and it's not working. By the end of the episode I'll have it. No, but I ate what I wanted throughout the on the holiday. I cheated, obviously. My father made Christmas Day, he made baked ziti, put some mozzarella in there, a little bit of sausage, you know. He made a prime rib. My father's the cook in the family.
Really?
The day before, he did the 7 fishes. That's an Italian tradition.
You do 7 fishes?
7 fishes.
I can't even name 7 fishes.
7 fishes. He made St. Peter's fish, sauteed shrimps and scallops. He made an octopus salad, served cold. He made bacala. Yeah.
What is this?
You know what's crazy? When I talk to people that about a normal holiday with my family, they're like, That's insane.
That
Like,
is
not a
insane.
lot of people cook like that.
Not like that. We don't name the fish. We put it out there. It's fish. Eat it. Shut up. Did you buy it? Then shut up and eat it. Who is St. Peter's fish? Is this a blessed fish?
Tilapia, right? It's tilapia.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
Italians.
not much of a seafood guy.
See, there's swag in the name of that fish, and I'm like dropping the ball right now. I don't even have
St.
my.
Peter's is tilapia. That's what it is.
All
It
I'm
is.
saying is-
Tilapia. Yep, tilapia.
All I'm saying is,
St. Peter. Is
I
tilapia
ate
going
it.
to heaven?
and it was delicious.
So you ate St. Peter's fish? That sounds like a sin. Like you ate the holy fish.
Good comedic twist, by the way.
That's the St. Octopus. You guys ate octopus in the salad. Is it cooked?
It's cooked and it's served cold.
And served. What does it taste like?
Delicious.
Vagina? Is it
Well,
rubbery?
Yeah. But after, you know what we'll do? After the podcast today, there's an Italian restaurant nearby that
I can't
serves
afford it.
Serves it. I'll pick up
Is
the
it fast
check.
food?
I owe you a Christmas gift. I'll pick up the check. You taste it. And then we can talk about it for the people.
Talk about so the octopus.
Well, it's not just
in
the
salad.
aunts, cousins, and moms that are listening now. I hate to brag, but our subscribers are getting up there. So
Yeah.
people are liking whatever chemistry
like
is
it.
going on. I don't
know.
know what we call this. No, but no, I ate what I wanted.
That's good. That's a lot of
I
food
didn't drink
for Christmas,
I didn't
though.
drink this holiday. I didn't drink alcohol. I'm sticking with that. But no, it was great. You know what was weird? That we did a very small Christmas and New Year's this year. My cousins did stop by. Now, let me ask a question. If you agree with this, if you're at a party with kids, or if you're at a house with kids, and there's people there that aren't watching their children, and the kids punch you or smack you or jump on you, they're not acting right. You do you feel like that's very awkward, right? You're back. You as somebody that's not your kid. You're just there sitting down eating, and the kid's jumping all over you, smacking you, punching you.
Well-
like what happens in those? Because you're around a lot of kids. You have friends. You go to parties like this. This is new to me.
I beat these kids.
No, you,
That kid, you should do. You discipline those kids. If you're not going, the parents.
it's not your kid, Mike.
I don't. He hit me. Do unto others as you want them to. I beat that kid.
So this was my thing. This is how I was. This is the direction I was going. The whole time the kid's smacking me, and my relative isn't addressing that with them.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Two things. That's not even a stranger kid. That's your nephew. You talk like that's a stranger. That's your cousin, so that's your nephew. You definitely beat that kid. That's your family. He's not representing your family correctly, and you should hit your cousin too. For
So
for
that's
making
where
this demon
I was
kid.
going with this. That you blame the parents.
But you hit the kid. That's discipline because you're an adult. I remember back in the day when I was growing up. Remember when you could just get beat by strangers when you were a kid? Like you act up
I
in the
don't
street.
remember that.
Random people would hit us. They didn't care, and then go back and tell our parents, and we got beaten. Part 2, Reloaded. It was a sequel.
I've heard stories.
It
but
should be like that's why these kids are crazy now. Kids are crazy. Nobody's beating them. You should definitely beat your cousin. He knew that kid was doing that.
I'm gonna wait till he's 14, and then we could size up. To each
14,
other.
you may not be able to beat him then. You now what? No, you got to get him now while he's young and can't defend himself.
No, but this, like going back to the initial, like why I'm bringing this up. Do you feel it falls on the parent? Like if you go out, right, and you bring your little son with you, and he starts acting a fool, you're either going to get him out of there or you're going to straighten him out right there.
You gotta do it.
You stop or we're leaving, right?
Yeah, you don't because the kid represents you.
That's
You know what I mean?
how I felt.
So
That's
what
how
did
I
you
felt.
do to this kid when that happened? He was punching you and stuff.
I said I had to smoke cigarettes, but I never smoked a cigarette in my life. You know me, I'm very non-confrontational unless I'm either really confrontational or I'm not at all. There's no in between with me. So like he's smacking me while I'm trying to eat my prime rib and dessert, and I'm like, you know what? I need a cigarette.
Wow.
And I just avoided. The fact there wasn't a lot of us there, but.
You didn't
And I'm
push
not
him a
around
little
that,
bit?
huh?
You didn't push him a little bit?
Nah, I just like a wedge. You don't have to do that. And there's nothing more awkward is when you're getting sized up by a child and you're not standing up to them.
It's worse for me because me and that kid is probably the same size.
They're hitting you, they're slap tapping you, and you're just like, because you just don't see.
Wow.
You're saying you've been around. I'm not around kids a lot. You've been around them, and you're saying what you got to do is
kids will test you. I know my youngest, my middle kid, my daughter. After the divorce, you know, when I met my new girl Adriana, I told her, I said, "Listen, you're gonna see my oldest. She's a good one. That one's going to heaven. But my second one, she's a demon. She's bad. She's going to size you up, and she's going to test you."
Before they even met.
Before I got her. So don't act like you didn't know. I'm telling you, she's that work. Like, you know what I mean? She's me. And right on cue, when she met her, she gave her the work right then. Like, you know, she's albino, right? So she's white, blue
so
eyes.
She came on very aggressive to your daughter?
No, my daughter came on aggressive to her. You know, and she didn't have kids either. She was kind of like you.
So what do you do?
Nice.
Are you in the middle and trying to...
I told her, and then I just watched. I kind of wanted to see who was going to win. Like, I'm subconsciously, I'm not going to lie, I was rooting for my daughter because that's blood. Like, you know what I mean? You don't go against blood. And she actually won. She actually won the fight. Like
round one. Round one.
But you know what? My girl, she's such a nice person. I told her you should beat her. You should slap her. I told her that's what you should do. You should hit her. And I told my daughter, and if she would have hit her, I would have told my daughter, you should have ducked. Like, her hand is white as hell. You didn't see this coming? You should have ducked. Like, how did you take this hit? But she really hit her.
Your ex-wife appreciated that.
Yeah, she did. She did. But I'm not going to lie, my daughter gives it to her, too. She definitely gives it to her too. It was hilarious. I know when she first got in the car, she was like, "Oh, Dad, you date white women now?" Like, that's the first thing she hit her with. And I wasn't no better. I was like, "I'm trying to get my credit up." Like, we just went in on it real quick for a minute. It was pretty funny. But like my girl, she has developed a sense of humor.
Yeah, and the other thing is by going through these tough times and dysfunction, it makes your family stronger. So now they're good.
I like that. You make them strong.
You get respect that way too.
And if you can't handle it, then fall off. Like, you know what I mean? That's it. Out with the weak in with the strong. But she's good with my daughter. She knows how to ignore her, and I didn't think that worked. You know, we're punchline people. We come back at you with a harder one. Even, you know, I hope your grandma die if we have to get to there. Like, you know what I mean? Win the argument.
It's like a mediocre attack, and then you're going for the hard. Yeah.
I go hard first because I don't know how good this guy is. So I want to go double hard in the first. You know what I mean? That way I can win. Because if we fight, I'm a small guy. I probably won't win. So I need to win what I can win when I'm in the situation. That's how I do. That's how I do.
Oh man!
If you're ever in a fight that you think you can't win, like have you ever been in a situation where you're in a fight where like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to beat this guy, but like your girl is there, so no one wants to get beat up in front of their girl. How was that ride home? Like, you know what I mean? So have you ever been in that situation where you think the fight is about to come, but you know you might not win? Did you ever go straight for the balls, like just to give you a head up? Is that still manly?
No, I've never been in that situation, but it makes sense to go use that approach. Definitely,
right? Or one to the Adams apple.
Well, I know you're, and I don't mean any disrespect by this.
That means this is definitely about to get disrespectful.
You are a little guy, so I think your go-to punch being at the balls is pretty smart. I'm not saying you're a bitch at all. I think that's the right move for a guy that weighs 110 pounds. I would do that.
I'm 115. I ate breakfast. Thank you very much. Very much.
No, so the kids, my cousins that were there, they get in my car, and kids are really messy. So I get a car wash the day after. Again, I'm not used to being around a lot of kids. I get a car wash, and
hold on, after.
I bring up. Well, not immediately.
She was like, "There were kids in here. Clean it."
The next morning, I took them for a ride in my Jeep or whatever, and the next morning I get a car wash. I didn't know, like, a lot of my priorities are single man priorities. You never warned me about this. Like if I get a smug on my white sneakers, first thing I'm going to do when I go home is get the stain out. My car always needs to smell good, an air freshener in there. I get a car wash the day after it rains. Somebody told me recently, a good friend of mine, he's like, you have kids.
It's not even your car anymore. It's theirs.
Man priorities.
It's theirs. There. You're an Uber driver. You have kids. They just get in there. They do whatever they want to. Like a taxi. All kind of stuff happens in the back.
You have to have the bag of Tootsie Roll Pops to hand out to them, like they're getting a haircut.
Just throw them at them. Shut up! I did rocks. I don't have no Tootsie Rolls. Then they get some hyper, and they don't stop.
The Pop Rocks.
No rocks. Rocks. Don't give them candy. Candy hypes them up more. I'll tell you the best thing. I know you guys. You know, Brian. You're engaged. I don't know if you have kids yet. I'm not. No, it does look pretty nice in here. You don't have kids.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you this. I don't want this to happen to you because I know you're engaged. You know what I mean? Love life. But the best thing that ever happened to me with having kids is getting divorced. I swear to God, it's one of the best things. I get to get rid of them for a whole week, and then I just endure 1 week when I have them. You just endure 1 week.
Can you imagine if he was a marriage counselor? The advice he's giving people.
It's wonderful. It's the best thing to be able to just have them for a week and then get rid of them and then have them and get rid of them. It helps you. It helps your sanity. Yeah. But then I messed around and had one with my girl now, so I didn't learn the lesson. I had to have one with her though. I got her raising these two with me. It just wasn't fair. She was like, if I'm going to get tormented by kids, I want it to be my own. And I was like, you're right. She thought it was going to be like her though, but it ended up being just like me. It's a smaller asshole. It's exactly what it is.
I met his son the one day. He brought him down here for the day on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. It's like Mike's clone.
I couldn't deny it. I was like, shit, that's
it's
mine.
Hysterical.
When it came out.
That kid's the best.
No, he's not. I'm ready to get rid of him. I really am. Here's the thing. He's breastfed. My other two kids weren't breastfed. You never know how much you love titties until a child locks them down. Like they're locked. And he teases me. Like whenever he was getting breastfed, he would look directly at me. Like while he was doing it.
How's your fiance feel when you give your kids such a hard time on the podcast? How does she feel?
She loves it. My kids listen to this podcast too when I talk about it. They listen to it.
They're 8 years old.
Yep, 8 and 10. They listen to it. I said, send your friends. I need subscribers.
Oh my God.
Send it to your friends. I don't care.
Is she a very protective mom, Adriana? Well, you know why I'm asking? Because my mother. I'm an only child Italian family.
We can tell.
Okay, I get it. And my mother, I tell this story to people sometimes. The first fight I got into, I lost pretty bad. And I'm home and I'm in my bedroom and she hears me sobbing a little bit because the guy he beat the shit out of me. He threw me around. You know what's funny when you watch TV, like a lot of fighting, like remember the Three Ninjas and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I grew up on all that stuff. So the first time I got into a fight, I don't know, what was I, 11, 12? I don't know. I'm watching all those shows and I'm like, oh, fighting's cool. And like somebody from the streets of Philly tried to like fuck with me and I stood up to him like,
you gonna do your ninja.
And he like threw me into the plug, threw me into like the stop sign. Like I was bruised up bad. And he was like 2 years older than me. He was a big kid. And so I told my mom what happened and he was a neighbor. You know, when you're kids, the neighbors fight each other. Uh-huh. You eventually grow up one day and you're all friends, but especially when you don't have a brother and sister. Yeah. Who's going to bully you? Your neighbors are going to bully you, right?
So, should be your father. So he should be your father. So we'll talk about that in a minute.
This kid smacked the he messed me up. He messed me up, this kid. We were young. And I did one thing you should never do is I told my mother what happened. So she went around to the kid's house.
Wow.
Asked for the mom and beat the shit out of the mom.
Parenting 101.
To South Philly Italian mother. It's like
101. What did your dad say when you got beat up? He don't want to tell this part.
we wouldn't tell my dad.
What?
My dad was such he was working all the time. My father was working 2 jobs.
That's a shame.
That's the man he was. He just was a provider.
But men still want to know about their son's fights. We look forward to. We want to know about fights.
He never
and sex.
My dad was one of these. He felt his approach to parenting like was a little different than my mom. My mom wanted to be involved in everything. My father was more like, let him figure it out. Like let him. No, really. You laugh, but I mean, me and you have had discussions like this in the past. That makes you learn quick. No, when you fall on your face, that makes you learn quick.
I'm gonna tell you what it is. You were a boy. That's why. If you were a girl, he would have been all in it. See, mothers love the boys. Fathers love the girls. We don't care about boys. When you have a son, it's like he's a man. Get a job. I don't care. We have no sympathy.
I'm 8. What do you mean get a job?
you better do something. You better change Pampers. Something. Do something. But you don't. Now that I have my boy, and I had 2 girls first, I realized like you don't love the boy as much. You love your girls more.
It's a different
than your boy.
type of connection.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
Type of connection.
Like the first time I came home drunk, right? I was like, I gotta be like 17. I don't know. My boy, we went to a house party, got smashed drunk. Okay, I drank a bottle of vodka. Bottles that how that ends. Anyway, he leaves me on the step, rings the doorbell, leaves. Who answers the door?
Hold on, was that guy that beat you up when you were a kid? Did he just?
I was the best man in his wedding. This is, I told you, South Philly, very dysfunctional. South Philly Italians, very dysfunctional race. So he rings the doorbell. He leaves me on the step. Who answers? My mom. She thought I was dead. So she wants to take me to the hospital. She drags me in the house. The neighbors are going to see him. Like she's worried about what people think. So my father comes down the steps. Now I'm blacked out. This is how I'm told it went down. My dad says, I got this. All I know is I woke up the next morning wrapped in 9 sets of covers, sweat drenched, terrible headache, everything spinning. He's sitting on the other end of the couch. And this is how, you talk about the old school parenting. He's looking at me. I wake my eyes. The first person I see, he goes, "You remember what you did last night?" And I'm like, vaguely. He's like, "You remember how you got home?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry." He's like, "I don't give a shit." He's like, "But you can't come home like that to your mother." He's like, "And I hope you learned the lesson tonight." And he stared at me and he walked away. That's respect, right? I mean, I'm sure you respect the way he handled that, right? He told my mother to go up the steps. I got this.
And as you should. That's right.
I was a 16, 17-year-old kid at that time. But, after that, I knew never to come home that way.
Yeah. And as a man, see, moms love their boy and moms tend to get a little over the top, the ones that love you. My mom would have left me out there. You don't pay no bills in here to be getting drunk. My mom would have left me out there. That's just how that went. But, the fighting thing, I remember I had a bully when I was young and I tried to run home. The fight didn't go the way I wanted to, and I tried to run home. They chased me, and my parents locked the door. You stay out there till you win.
Oh, see, they wanted to toughen you.
Yeah, they wanted to toughen you.
That's an interesting approach too. Now, there was another. So I lose that one fight I told you about. Now,
you told everybody, by the way. They all know you got your ass whooped at 11. Just so
it's okay, but this is to justify it. I get into 2 other fights after that. I win, so now my ego's high.
And then you get your ass whooped.
Then I wanted to become the kid in the group of friends that if anybody comes around and fucks with us in this neighborhood, you're the one that'll step up and protect them. That ended quick. That was like a 2-3 month run because I think I was in 5th grade and a dude that was in 7th, he looked little. He had all the mechanics of a young teen. And he came around and said something. I said, "You can't talk to us like that." Boom, dropped me. I went to sleep. It's like snoring.
Did you wake up wrapped up again on the couch?
Mike, I haven't gotten to a fist fight since. So, point of the story is getting your ass kicked sometimes.
It helps.
Learning the hard way is not the worst thing. Not the worst thing.
That's what I always tell people. It's so funny when I hear people. I tell my kids, don't talk tough. Like, I'm gonna whoop you. I always hear it blows my mind. People say, I'm gonna whoop your ass. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And it's always in my mind, like, what do you think I'm gonna be doing while you're swinging at me? You think I'm gonna stand here and take these punches? It's amazing how people don't realize when they get hit in the fight. Like, they can't believe that. They're like, yeah, it's a fight,
that's
buddy.
How quick it happens.
It's a fight.
That's why World Star Hip Hop's a thing. People they make money off
People
that
don't
now.
think that they're going to get hit back in a fight. It's amazing that I wait for the asshole. I plan for this asshole. I had enough of them.
What's that say about the American public that when people have videos on their camera phone of people getting dropped, like beat up bad, that they go viral?
Because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
And usually the person deserves it. Did
even
you
if
notice
they don't,
that?
even
Usually
if they
they
don't.
deserve
I don't even read that far back. You got your ass whooped. We stick right there. I don't need to know the rest of the story. That part was hilarious. Because you know why it's hilarious? Because you go back to the time when it happened to you. Or something happened. He's like, wow, that's what I look like falling like that? Like, did I fall in that fetal position? Or head down, ass up type of situation. Now I get beat up and raped. Like, it's just a horrible situation. But it's good because, bad things are supposed to happen in life. Bad things happen and good things happen too. I hate when people think that the only thing is supposed to happen to you is good things.
No, life's hard.
Yeah. What's a good thing if you don't have bad things?
Right.
You know what I mean? Bad things are supposed
Hard times make you appreciate the good times.
Yeah.
No doubt.
So go out there and get your ass whooped, people. It's
but you got to be smart too. Like, even with the whole pandemic and everything, like, what I think's very strange is the people that get really angry when they go into a store and they got to wear a mask. Hey, fuck this. I'm not wearing. You gotta be courteous. This thing that we're going through right now, nobody knows what's going on. Even the and this is just two guys talking on a podcast. We're not professionals, medical professionals at any point that are educated by it. But right now, the right thing to do is just do what you're told. And let's get past this, and don't be a knucklehead.
Well, you know why people go in there and get an attitude and get all tough and everything? Because people don't slap people in public no more. That's what that's about. People don't whoop ass like they used to do back in the 90s.
That's what camera phones will do.
But then you wouldn't get tough. It needs to happen. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't have did that in the 90s. Coming there, I don't want to wear no man. Somebody around there. Come back, slap the shit out of you, and then you put your mask on, don't you? It just slides right on after that. Easy. That's why you should beat your kid. That's why you should have beat that kid. That kid that grows up and he becomes like joking. That.
He don't mean beat them. Like, he means smack. Yeah.
Sometimes the smack don't work. When I was a kid, the smack didn't work for me. I let that roll. I wore a lot of Vaseline. You hit me, it slide off. I didn't feel anything. I was a kid that needed to be beat. I had to be beat because I have this thing about like I want to be the best. Like, you know what I mean? So I took beatings as a way for me to learn how to fight. Like, you know what I mean? I could take a beating in the street because everything my mom did to me, guys in the street wouldn't do. Like, you know what I mean? I got the worst beating ever from my parent. Like, you know what I mean? So I was ready for whatever was out here. Yeah. And that's how she raised you.
Kevin Hart, I brought him up, and I always like to bring up Kevin Hart because he's the LeBron James of comedy. So right now, and I did you read his book?
No, I didn't.
Well, I read his book.
I'm waiting for the movie to come out.
So wait a second. So wait. he talks about in his book how his mother used to beat him with frying pans.
Yeah. That's why we don't never.
Now you look at a guy like Kevin Hart who seems like he's got it well put together, but
that frying pan got him
times and his mother being on him made him the hustler he is today.
Because you know what? He didn't
right
have
or wrong.
He didn't
you
have
look at it like
he
that.
didn't have his father in the household. So the mother had to beat both of those. That's why I say it's single parent can be a thing, but you do need both parents in the household. You need both parents. No doubt. And the frying pan, that's why in the kitchen, whatever we did, we were never bad in the kitchen. We were never bad in the kitchen.
Too much to grab.
It's too many things that hurt. It hurt. Knives.
I grew up in an Italian family, so if my mother did strike me, it was definitely with a wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon, frying pan. Sometimes there were grease in those frying pans. You don't want none of that work. If I talk shit from the dining room, somewhere where there's cushion, maybe the bedrooms. You know what I mean? Under the covers, safe. You knew when to mess with people. Great.
And you know what? Now, in my family, my mom was the one that hit me. My dad never put his hands on me, but as I
because he was working, he was tired by the time he got to you.
Yeah, but like I said, his approach was let him figure it out. Let him figure it out. And I overall, I don't think I was a bad kid. But looking back now, I always say to him, I thank my mom a lot now because if she had a different approach, God knows, growing up in the streets of Philly, it's not easy.
I mean, even in the beginning, when you were born, she could have swallowed. And we'll end the show right there. Appreciate you guys coming out. Check us again every Thursday. If you're in the Magnolia area, you definitely want to come to the Laughing Fox.
Tuesdays, Magnolia.
Tuesdays.
Laughing Fox.
8 o'clock.
That's live. That's a stand-up comedy show.
And if you think I'm vulgar here,
the podcast gets posted every Thursday on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Everywhere it's played. You watch it, have your parents watch it, grandparents watch it, children,
Viewer
everybody.
Discretion advised. Did I say that right?
Viewer discretion advised. Right. He's right, but not necessary. We'll see you again next Thursday.
Thank you.